Welcome back. How's Andrew?
Sleeping.
Okay. He's sleeping again.
Yeah.
Yeah. How is he still sick? Still
hmm
yeah. Mm. It's really hard with kids, like you said, with the mucus and stuff.
hmm
Yeah. I stopped it because I was like, in the chance that since we said the C word,
Oh yeah.
that Ryan just lovid that starts with a C. If that gets taken down, then
Oh
at least
yeah.
we'll have this one.
Yeah, that's a good point. Smart.
So I was like, nah. Anyway, um,
Yeah.
have you tried warm water or hot water with lemon and salt, Celtic sea salt?
I have not, um, but I'm doing significantly better. I mean, like, I drink tea like it's like nobody's business anyways. Um, I, um, I, I was laughing the other day actually with Ty. Him and I were kind of like chuckling because I have drank either cups of tea or cups of coffee, like I think my entire adult life. And when I was sick, like I tried to make tea. Like several times I tried to make tea and I couldn't even stomach it. Like it was, and it wasn't like I didn't have a stomach bug the second time I got sick. I was just like the worst head cold of my entire life. I don't know. And I couldn't even drink tea. And I love tea. That was my sister said. She was like, that's when I knew something was like really wrong. She's seen me, and she's like, I knew that I had to do something because I had the ability to do something. And I was like, because I wasn't drinking tea. She's like, yeah, no, I've seen you. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah, being sick sucks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to I was actually like kind of joking around. So whatever it is that I have, we picked up at church. Um we had baptisms and not not this weekend that's just come to an end, but the previous weekend, we had baptisms and services. It's just like it's a really crazy weekend. And then there's like a whole bunch of church stuff like that with like Christmas and stuff like that. So it's just been like back to back to back to back to back. Anyways, and so it's kind of like it's finally like caught up with our parish. And oh shoot, what was the point of that? I was talking about being sick and tea, and I was
Do the
joking with.
weave, girl.
I know I can't. My brain is dumb.
I can
Er,
barely weave when I when
dude.
I'm not sick. Trump is really good at it.
Yeah, yeah, he's a
But I just
professional
wonder if
for
the
sure.
teleprompter's like just says one word and she's like, "Oh yeah, now
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
remember."
yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I need to do.
Oh, just being dumber. Like I can hardly, I mean, I joke around a lot that Ty did not marry me because I'm smart.
Oh, I have a
And
theory on that one. We'll go into that. Something I heard. So
let's
go
go
ahead.
into that. Let's go. No, I mean like
No. I
it
want to hear about your
being
theory about Ty not
being
marrying you because
dumb.
you're smart. We all
No.
know that.
No. Um, it, um, so my friend Amy, who she's our choir director for our church, um, her and I were kind of talking about previously we were wanting to, after all this craziness and stuff like that, with a few people already being like kind of sick. I like to go to the church and I'll open up all the windows and we vacuum and we dust and like we really clean and like we try to just like move the stagnant air out so everybody doesn't get sick. Well, we didn't do it fast enough because yesterday she hauled herself out of bed knowing she wasn't contagious anymore, but just that post sick having that post sick just fatigue. And she said it was like 30% of the church was there, like just everybody was sick. We had to cancel our annual like church dinner that we celebrate every year
Mm.
about this time because it was like so many people were there, like we can't come because we're sick. And we haven't had numbers like this, I think, ever. Oh, that's a good idea. I'm gonna pause real quick. I'm gonna put something on my lips. That looks so
Got this organic lip balm. It's so wonderful.
nice.
Yeah.
Let me go grab some stuff for
Yeah,
mine
go
because
ahead.
they're
Go
like
ahead.
cracked more now.
In case anybody's wondering, I got this organic balm from the Cornish Seaweed Bath.co.uk, and it has organic olive oil, organic cocoa butter, organic beeswax, extracts of Angelica sinensis, mint, uh, yeah, and organic peppermint essential oil. I was just more looking for something that didn't have seed oils in it, but this is wonderful. I like the addition of the peppermint essential oil in it. But I don't know about you guys. Whenever I get sick, blowing my nose and my upper lip just ugh, it's terrible.
Oh
I'm
my
talking
gosh.
about my
Okay.
oh, she can't even
I've
hear
got a
me.
mirror and
Okay, wait.
Q-tips because my lip is about to start bleeding profusely. Gross. Sorry. So gross.
I'm gonna have to go grab a tissue. I thought I
Yeah.
had a box in here. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries.
Oh, and I'm like, oh man, I got my. I don't use regular tissues either. I have like special tissues that I use. I went down this road and I don't know how to get out of it.
What kind of tissues? I'm dying to know.
Well, the other ones have like they're like bleached and everything, and I
Right.
was like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't be.
I need organic,
Maybe I shouldn't. You know,
unbleached.
and they're not. Um, they're not super expensive either, and yeah, they're just like unbleached bamboo.
Oh,
They're not the
interesting.
softest thing in the world, but you know, comfort kills, right?
For real,
So
for real.
as
I
long as I'm doing things uncomfortable, I also have some toilet paper too with it because I was like, I'm not wiping my butthole with bleach. Nope, nope, nope. Just trying to
okay.
reduce the chemicals in my life.
One of the funniest things I think I remember you ever saying, I was in the Navy and I think you and I were just like talking on the phone one day and I was getting ready for like an inspection and you were talking about Angel Soft toilet paper and there was like a pebble or a rock like inside of it somehow.
I was like,
And
what's going on at this company?
it was
I was like, did they make cement with this Angel Soft toilet paper?
It's the funniest thing I have ever. And so I'm sitting there and I'm trying to get like ready for this like barracks inspection and like I've got to be in uniform. I've got like all this stuff and I can't like I'm just like in tears, just like laughing to myself. And I immediately like went to my I went to the bathroom that's shared and was like, "Do we have Angel Soft? Because I'm getting rid of it."
I think
It
I'm
was
as
the
like they should
funniest
make a
thing ever.
commercial, like Angel Soft, it is really soft. Yeah, Angel Soft may not be soft. Angel Soft may contain large chunky materials found in cement. It's
It's
like
still like the funniest
what the
thing ever.
hell? Yeah,
This is
that wasn't a great
hilarious.
experience. So,
No, I can only imagine.
but yeah. Well, you said something. Oh, I heard this thing. So I think I saw it on Instagram. This guy, I'm gonna butcher this apart. All right, he said in a relationship, there's going to be in a somebody that's adored and the adoree. Is that the
Okay.
word? Adoree,
Yeah.
adoring the adorer. Right.
Okay.
So, and typically that is, and then it's like this, right?
Okay.
And sometimes they go like this, but very often does the adorer become the adoree. Am I saying that right?
I
The
think so.
adorer? The
The
adorer.
the
Yeah,
okay.
the adorer. So they often don't switch. And usually the one being adored is the man in the relationship because women tend to want to adore
Right.
a man. And then I got to thinking about that and I was like, oh no, 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 no. That's definitely the opposite way around. And then I started talking to Pete and then I realized it's not.
It's not.
It's not. I I adore him more than, and I wouldn't even use the word adore. It's more like I look up to him
Right.
more than he looks up to me. He has more life experience. He is smarter than me.
Uh-huh.
He is more emotionally stable than me. And I think a lot of relationships will last longer if a woman finds somebody that's smarter than her. And I
Yeah.
know that's a really like people are gonna be like, like you're gonna go to hell. But honestly, just think about it. I have friends that have been divorced because the woman always thinks she's smarter than the man. I'm like,
Yeah.
I know my place.
Right.
I know I couldn't go out and make the amount of money my husband's make. No, I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
could if I had stayed that course,
Hmm.
but I didn't. I chose this life, and that has nothing to do with smarts either. In his case, it does. But I just think about like women in general. Like I'm out here, my overall, my life is really easy.
Hmm.
It really is. Like I have four kids that I have taught from a small age to clean up after themselves, to pick up things. Like my kids clean the bathrooms now. I don't even need to clean my own bathrooms. Like the
Nice.
kids do that.
Right.
The kids clean the house, but not all the house. They go out to school. My husband goes to work. When when they get home, the house is clean,
Hmm.
right? The house is clean, and I have very high standards, so the house is clean to my very high standards.
Hmm.
When they get home and they make a mess, that is a family, everybody has to clean it because everybody has to clean up after themselves.
Hmm.
And so, and I've taught them this from a very young age because it's not my responsibility and I just like I don't expect them to get a wife and make it her responsibility to clean up after them. That's
Yeah.
not her
No.
responsibility. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
But I believe it's since I'm a stay-at-home mom, the kids if they're sick, that's my responsibility.
Right.
That's not Pete's responsibility. Pete's responsibility is to go out and provide income for to maintain our household financially.
Right.
My job is to maintain our household as a family unit.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so that's what I'll do. So, and I think a lot of women think, oh, being a housewife, they just have to clean all day. And then their husband gets home and they sit in their den and drink scotch. Like that does not happen in my house.
Yeah.
My husband gets home. Actually, we don't like, we make dinner together most of the
Nice.
days, or, he makes dinner, or, sometimes I make dinner, but we all clean up after.
Right.
We all make sure that the house is clean so that it's not a burden on anybody else.
Yeah.
And I think, but I think about that and and I'm folding laundry and I'm like, man, somebody divorce this man. Like, how
What
easy is
idiot.
life? Like girls are out looking for like the football players, and the chances of them, actually becoming big on football is so
Hmm.
small.
Hmm.
Where I'm like, marry the nerd,
Hmm.
marry the guy that's
Yeah.
going to be able to provide and take
Hmm.
care. Like to me, I'm like, I want to marry that guy that is really smart
Yeah.
because he's smart enough to know he's smart enough to know what to do to make a unit work,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
No, totally. It totally makes sense. I think Peterson's always talked about like couples like marry, what is it like over and up? Like there's like the social hierarchy. Like women look for men that are adjacent and up the hierarchy to where their like status is. But I think that it actually kind of like goes both ways because it's not very often that like everything's going to work out so perfectly. But and like you kind of said, like you have to marry somebody who's smarter than you. I 100%, as soon as you said you're I can't remember exactly what you said, but as soon as you said like you have to marry like people who don't marry smarter than them, women who don't marry guys smarter than them, I would I very quickly ran through a tally, and 100% of those people are
100%.
divorced.
A
100%.
100%. I ran through that tally too, and I was thinking about the smart. When I was listening to the clip, adore to me isn't the word that I would have used because I think of adored, like I think my husband adores me more
Right.
than I adore him, as in a way like he makes sure that like he really loves me.
Right.
Like, and I mean, I really love him too. Like I with everything in me, he is my best friend. He is the person, like every time I see my future, he's always in it. There's
Mm.
never
Mm.
anybody else in it. And I never want to. It doesn't mean we didn't have trouble before,
Right.
whatever.
Right.
But this right now in my life, I love him and I adore him. But when it comes to like adore, like if he's playing a video game
Mm.
and I'm going for a walk and I come home, that video game stops.
Wow.
And he's like, I don't, that doesn't matter. You matter.
Aw.
So he does things like that,
Right. Right.
and he's, he's with me all the time.
Right.
We're partners and we're walking through life together and we just enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
And like at the end of the day, if there's, stuff that needs to be done or sometimes I start laundry late and he does not rest until we both can rest together.
Nice.
You know, unless he's sick or something,
Right.
but
Right.
obviously. And I think for me, that's what a lot of women are lacking in a relationship is they're marrying for something else instead of marrying their best friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Stephanie and I, my little sister and I have talked about that a lot because this is her second divorce, and that she's been through. So she's been divorced twice. And the second one, I remember when she first met the guy, her like word like her I don't even remember like how it came about, but she was like, oh yeah, I met this dude, and it's like, oh, I was like, what's he like? She's like, he's not my person. And like she kind of like talked about him kind of like offhandedly, but then like they just kind of like kept hanging out, and it got to the point where he one day proposed to her, and she was like, he proposed, I'm so excited, and I love him so much. And I was like, Stephanie, remember when you were like, he's not my person? Like, I'm super happy that you found. So she's like, no, it's all changed and blah blah blah. I was like, that doesn't really actually change.
It did for
Your
me. It
well,
did for me.
okay, okay. I'll take it back. I take it back.
But not everybody is like me. I'm special.
Yeah. I
Well, it didn't change for me. I changed
okay.
is really how I should
That's
put it.
yeah, yeah. And I don't think she has. And
Okay.
I don't think that in the course of their relationship she did either.
Got it.
And so as we've talked about it and stuff like that, because like, I mean, I mean, she's of a great population of single middle-aged women who are constantly like, why doesn't anybody love me? Why can't I keep anybody? Why do blah blah blah? It's like, well, you're
Because
part
of
of,
them. It's their
yeah,
own
you're
self.
part of the problem is
Yeah.
what it is. But also because you keep it's the quality of person that you're looking for. Like she said so many times, like like she doesn't really care about like if they have kids or if they want kids. She wants a guy who doesn't want kids because she can't have kids. And like I kind of get that, but like also at the same time, like she only cares about like what they look at. Like every time she's like on a dating app, she's like, "Yeah, I would never date this guy." And I was like, "Oh, what's wrong with him?" And she's like, "Oh, he asks too many personal questions." And I'm like,
That's what you
isn't that the
want. He's
point of
trying to get to know you.
right?" And she's like, "I'm just not going to share that kind of information with just anybody." I'm like, aren't you trying to get together with somebody? Like you can't just like superficially, like I don't
I
like
mean,
what
if
are you
he's like,
looking
"What's the
for?
dates of your period?" Okay, that's a little. But if he's like, "Where'd you grow up?" You
Right,
know?
right. Yeah.
What's your social
Um,
security number? Just the last four. Like,
I also need your debit, what's
yeah.
this called? No, it's just it's so wild. And like I know there's a lot of people that I know that are like that too, that have they're just like, I don't understand why I can't find anybody. And then you look at like the quality of person that they're trying to attract, and you're like, it should be obvious why you can't find anybody. You're looking for somebody who A, doesn't exist, and two, like you're and this is the other thing. I'm not going to use my sister's ex-husband's name, but the dude's an idiot, like stupid. And we used to make fun of him. It was so easy to use the cliche. I'm sure you've heard it. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that you wanted to join the Marines at one point too. So I'm
Mm.
really sure you've heard like window licking, crayon eating, stupid Marines. This
Yeah.
dude put that in there. Like this guy is such an idiot. Like
Oh.
having conversation. The first time she brought him over to our house, we were just like Ty and I were talking about something, and I'm not smart. I'm not smart.
That's not
And
true. You are.
hey, thank you.
Don't cut yourself
I
short like that. I
have
think
okay.
I think I'm pretty smart for a female. I'm not saying I'm
You
the smartest, but I think I'm a little above
you are super
average.
smart. Yeah, you are
But
super
I
smart.
think you're about the same, and I
I do
think you cut yourself short all the time. And
thank
I would
you.
appreciate if you didn't do that anymore.
I will do my
You are very
best.
smart. I wouldn't be having
I
conversations with you if
I
you
see
weren't.
where my weaknesses are in book smarts. I can't I don't have the ability to like input information and then regurgitate that information
I have a hard time as
in
well.
any type of a
Mine
pace.
is reading comprehension.
Oh
I'll read
yeah.
something, I'll be like, "What the hell did I just
I've
read?"
read this sentence 600
I
times. Why am I getting dumber?
But if it's something I'm really in, like I've spent the last year reading about health stuff. I'm really
Mm,
interested in it, and I
yeah.
if I understand it, it's easier for me to
Yeah.
understand what it's saying if it's only adding a little bit at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyways, please, a conversation
Oh,
with him.
anyways, he said, I wish I could remember what the example was. This has been like 5, 6 years, maybe longer now. And oh, I just remember like he said the thing, and like I remember like my husband and my sister and I like we all just kind of like looked at each other in like shock and horror, like that's not like what you that's not what you think, right? Like, and it was like it was something like really, really like maybe we were discussing like it wasn't astrophysics, it wasn't like rocket science, like it was something like super basic, like probably you should open doors before you walk through them. And he's like, nah, you don't have to do that. And we're just like, but that's not really what you think, was it? And, like it was so surprising. And Stephanie and I, we had this joke between us that we would just be like, well, he's cute to look at because that was like
Oh
his only
no.
redeeming quality.
No. No. See, I think when I met my husband, we ended up being really good friends, and I think at one point I was like, I broke up with him. I was like, I can't do this. It's weird. He's like, why? I was like, you're my best friend, and he was
Huh.
like, don't you want to be in a relationship with your best friend? Like he got it at 29, and I was in my early 20s, but I was just like, um, I don't know. Like I didn't. I did, but
I feel like
yeah,
we're also kind of programmed as women to like have this like we've got that like rom-com idea of what like love and romance and
yeah,
like what that's supposed to look like. And
it's so
if
wrong.
yeah, it totally is. Like we're brainwashed into not wanting because like they don't like I don't think Pete's Pete's not like my cup of tea, but he's not ugly by any way, shape, or form. And you guys have produced some beautiful children. Like it's like I don't understand when women are like, yeah, well, my sister, she's one of those people who are like, yeah, it's a deal breaker if he's like losing any kind of hair. It's like, do you know
Oh,
what kind of a genetic lottery you gotta
I
have?
like him when he shaves his head and he has his beard and he wears like a little beanie. I'm like, he's so
Shaved head,
adorable.
grow
Like I look
goatee.
at him all the time and I'm like, you're so cute. Like he is. He is he is more attractive to me now than he was when we met. And I just think that is because it it doesn't matter. It wouldn't matter to me if like he was mauled by a dog and it's like it wouldn't matter to me what happened to him. I love who he is,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
the physical appearance.
yeah.
But yeah, yeah. I think women are like honestly, like I want to just be like, who married the nerds? Who here married the nerds because we're at home being taken care of and they're making money. I'm like that's who you want to be
Hmm.
with. Like these
Hmm.
these guys that like society really did them a like disjustice, you know? Like
Yeah,
they are really important.
yeah,
And I think yeah, just having this false notion of what true love looks like.
yeah.
It's not this fairy tale thing. Like, you know what? It is. It is a fairy tale thing. It really is,
But
but
it
not in the
takes
way it's
years of,
portrayed.
right, yeah, it takes like years of work and getting to know a
It's
person.
it's hard.
Yeah, it's not some rom-com where you accidentally like fall in love with your boss
No,
and she really actually needs you because she has to go to some like thing for a weekend and you guys are
right?
gonna like fall in love. Like that's not like that's not gonna go the distance any at all.
No, it's not. No, because I had one of those and it ended. You know, because they're like, you know, he's and it's just like and I think about yeah, I think about the thing like dating these other people. There was one guy I dated that was I would say was probably smarter than me, but I didn't think that at the time.
Right.
I thought I was smarter than him. So obviously it didn't work. But yeah, I really think a foundation for a good family is first yourself. You got to
Mm.
take care of yourself and you have to stop thinking, you have to stop trying, like looking for a man to give you what you can't give to yourself.
Yeah, yeah,
So if you can't give yourself happiness,
yeah,
do not expect a man to give that to you
yeah.
because
No,
that's
100%.
and that for me when I came to that realization, Pete and I's relationship like blossomed from there. When
Nice.
I because I was looking for him to give me to make me whole.
Right, right.
I was looking for everything else outside of me to make me whole
Mm.
instead of just saying maybe it's something I give to myself.
Yeah.
Like, and he would say that all the time. You know, happiness is not something that comes from external things. And I'd be like, okay, that's easy for somebody that doesn't have mental health problems
Right, right.
because you're so caught up and this is happening to me
Yeah.
and that I'm the victim. I'm the victim. This is, you know, and so I think that is a big thing when a woman thinks she's smarter,
Yeah.
a relationship never works.
Yeah.
When a woman, and I'm just doing this as a woman since it can also be the man, but
Right.
as a woman, I see it more with women.
Yeah.
Actually, all the divorces that I see with people have been the woman cheating, the woman wanting to leave this husband, you
Yeah.
know. And so every one of them,
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah.
100% of divorces. So I'm like, I don't understand how it's how this stigma about it's the man all the time when I'm like, how is 100% of the people
Yeah.
I see, though, it's the woman's fault? You
Yeah.
know, just because he didn't give me what I needed. Well, what do you need? Give it to
Love and
yourself.
love and
Love.
adoration. Yeah,
Exactly. Give it to
but
yourself.
right.
If you can't
So
appreciate yourself, You
Yeah.
can't love yourself. How are you ever going to expect somebody else to do that for you?
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah.
That puts so much pressure. Like when I was in that stage, imagine the pressure that was put on Pete.
Yeah. I can't.
Like
Yeah.
not only I can't be myself, I can't do this, and then I would be so caught up in my own thing. Like your his opinions didn't even matter, and men write songs on this. Like I'm listening to this song about this man that's talking about. He's like, there's so many words that left unsaid. I'd do anything for you, baby, and this, and I'm like, whoa, so many words left, and that hit me. I was like, I am never going to be that woman ever again, where my husband can't tell me something because he's afraid I'm going to get upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want him to tell me even if he thinks I'm going to get upset. I want my kids to tell me
Yeah.
even if they think because I can deal with it. I'm a big girl. I'm strong and I'm a problem solver
Yeah.
and I can deal with that. The other day, one of my kids peed the bed for the first time in like a year and a half.
Oh
Like
man.
it was really a sudden thing and he had come into my bedroom and okay, so previous to that, when I was in the angry Linda, he would pee the bed, wake me up, wake up in the middle of the night. And I get angry at him to the point where he stopped waking me up
Oh.
and he would throw his underwear like in the underwear drawer and it like
Oh.
because he was so scared of being yelled at.
Right.
And then then I would yell at him, this is disgusting. Now I have to wash all the and he's like, no matter what I do,
Right.
and he's trying to solve the problem himself. And I'm just yelling at him because he's trying to solve. And so, luckily he stopped peeing the bed, but I changed the person I am. And he came into my bedroom and instead of going sometimes when things happen, they usually go to Pete because he doesn't overreact. But
Right.
he came to me and he said, Mommy, and he woke me up and I said, well, I was already awake. I had just woken up like 30 seconds before, and then I hear the door, and I was like, please don't be an alien. I'm not ready. I can't say anything. Please, 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 please. And then, Mommy, and I was like, okay. Um, and he puts his little knee, he lifts his knee up and puts it in his bed, and then he backs down. And I was like, oh no, did you pee the bed? And he's like, yes. And I was like,
Oh.
okay, well, let's take care of it. And so I said, I'm going to go strip down your mattress. Can you go into the bathroom and clean yourself up? And he says, okay. So he goes in the bathroom. I strip down the mattress. And then he comes back and he says, I don't know what happened. And I said, well, did you drank a lot before bed? You didn't go pee? And he was like, yeah. And I said, well, next time this happens, this is what we do. Okay. So we strip down your mattress and then get another sheet, remake the bed. So I said, if you need to do this on your own, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
So I showed him how to do it. And then he went back to sleep and I laid in bed after and I was like, I'm an awesome mother. Like that to me. And I know like that to me just was like the moment I'm like, all that hard work, all that work of just not being like, and I'm just like, let me prove it. And I
Right.
finally had a situation where I could
Nice.
prove it and I did such a great job. And I'm like, yeah. So I've been going around like, I want my kids to be problem solvers. So I have to be a problem solver.
Right.
And then the next morning, the the blankets were changed on the bed and both the boys because the two youngest have matching blankets, so it was
Okay.
obviously a different blanket. So Silas was like, did you pee the bed? And
Uh-huh.
I'm just listening to them and sorry, they're going on about, and he was like, I didn't meet, and then just brothers joking around and
Right.
he says, I'm gonna tell everybody in the whole school. And so
Rude.
Simon's like, don't do that. Ooh. And then he's like, I don't, and he came, he's like, Mom, I don't know what to do. And I was
Oh.
like, what's wrong? And he said, Silas said he's going to tell everybody in the whole school that I peed the bed.
Oh.
And I was like, what? And Silas, come here. And he comes out and I was like, Silas would never do that. Silas like loves this family. He would never do that. He's joking around with you. I didn't even have to he was like, I would never do that. I have more integrity than that.
Oh,
And I was like, yes, because I'm like, I didn't have to yell. I didn't have to
right,
threaten like
right,
punishment or anything. I just changed his mind. Like I just
right,
changed, like made him see how strong he was and how he wouldn't do that instead of, the other way
right.
around. So I'm like, I
No, I love that. That's such a brilliant way to handle it. And I think that's something that, I mean, personally, like I've been struggling with, not like the bedwetting thing. I mean, obviously the bedwetting thing, I'm potty training a 3-year-old boy, and it turns out that boys wet the bed way later into their lives than girls do. And it's perfectly normal, and
yes.
just you just gotta get you just gotta get a good routine of washing those bed sheets at night.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
this hasn't happened in a long
Nice.
time.
That's awesome. No, I think the way that you handled it is so great. And then you also had the clarity of mind to not only not only like you weren't just so hyper focused on this dumb kid like just peed the bed and I got to deal with this and I got to deal with that. I bet if you would have handled it the way you had in the past, that there's a really good chance that maybe the other one wouldn't have had the opportunity to realize like he's not actually going to do that. He's just razzing the kid's berries, you know.
Yeah.
It might have actually come down to maybe he did get a little bit more annoyed, and then he does tell the whole school. And it's like one of those like trickle down effects. So I love that you had the opportunity to be like, I've changed, I've done this, please let me prove myself. And then from there you're also able to help show your two youngest boys like, yeah,
This
he's
is
just,
how an adult's supposed to act,
yeah,
not crazy yelling and screaming and
right,
like we're supposed to like like parenting isn't hard. It's the easiest hard thing you'll ever do. It's hard and it's easy. And let me tell you how to do it super easy. All you have to do is raise your kids by being the person you want them to be. That's it. That's it. Because that's how children learn. The first years of their life, they're just learning by looking and by seeing, by figuring things out. And then they go to this stage where they're touching things and they're getting into things they want to explore.
yeah,
And then we take away their, like for me, I take away their ability to explore because it's inconvenient for me.
right,
Let's not like learn from my mistakes. Don't do that.
right,
Let them explore. Let them be themselves. Stop trying to control who they are and let them just find out who they are on their own.
yeah,
And so that to me is when I discovered self control. When I discovered, and I know that's
self
funny,
could
like
what? No,
I'm in my 30s, like, but there's people that haven't even figured this out and
no,
they die
yeah,
in their 80s.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like if you just be the person you want your kids to be, it's easy. It's
yeah,
so easy to parent
yeah,
because all you're doing is just teaching them to be a good member of society,
yeah,
however that looks.
yeah,
And so it's
that's
like the easiest hard thing because you have to change yourself
right, right,
because you're like, okay, I can't be this person anymore. And I do wish I'm like, I wish I could go in a time machine and know with the information I know now, go back in time and change it. But then I was like, no, like I would miss out on all these little mistakes that they made. But then I'm like, what did I miss out on when I was so angry and I was so
right,
like I missed out on so much. And just like, yeah, anybody that's listening, if I can change, anybody can change. All you have to do is just be aware.
yeah,
Is live in that 5% of
constantly.
your brain
Hmm.
that is aware, and it gets easier. I have a video on the first day of starting this journey over 2 years ago,
Hmm.
like crying, like I don't want to be this person. I don't know how to get out of this thing. I hate myself. I'm depressed. I have anxiety. I can't do anything. My children, if I keep doing this, they're gonna hate me. Like I don't know how to get out of this. So I'm just gonna try to just fake it.
Fake
I'm
it till
just
you
gonna
make
try
it.
to fake it till I
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to just be a happy person.
Yeah.
That was really hard. And I'm going from a state of being like depressed and medicated and all this other stuff. Like at what point when I was taking antidepressants for years and years and years and years, at what point were they going to start working?
Right. Right.
That was my that was my thing. Like yeah, and I just like just waking up, just literally just living in the 5% of your brain, because 95% of your brain is just habits
Yeah.
that usually you've been taught from the
Hmm.
age of, birth to the age of 8 is just habits.
Yeah.
And so when I see somebody that's yelling and screaming and can't control themselves, I feel sorry for them.
Hmm. Hmm.
Instead of just looking at, like, I'm not intimidated by them. I'm not I feel sad that
They
they
have no
haven't figured
idea.
it out yet.
Yeah, they have no idea. That's something that I've been struggling with a whole lot recently, is just like reminding myself that exactly what you said, that I'm the easiest part of parenting is just modeling for them the behavior that I
Yep.
want to see for them, or I want them to exhibit.
And that's
And
literally parenting.
it's
There's nothing else.
so, yeah, it's so hard. Like something that, so the hardest part about this is, I grew up in a home where I didn't have boundaries. I never had boundaries. The idea of a boundary is still a really foreign concept to me. I think even the couple years, when we were in high school and stuff like that together, like, I
When you
had
say boundary, what do you mean?
I mean like I mean like there was never clear, concise boundaries.
Okay.
Like with like
Yep.
literally everything. It could be something as simple as like what rules and like where expectations are from my parents, with personal boundaries. Like I'm a very touchy-feely person, so like it was just like I never had boundaries. I didn't we were just not raised with boundaries.
Got
Um,
it.
Even after my parents divorced, like we became like latchkey kids. So like all stability, and like that like really like went out the window. And so something that I have learned that is going to be key to being successful is boundaries, how to set them, how to hold them, how to maintain them, and how to have them like within reason. Because there were people that entered my life that had boundaries and healthy boundaries. There were a couple people that did not have healthy boundaries, and it was just a foreign concept. And so teaching my children like what those are, I'm terrible at it. And so right
Mhm.
now I'm struggling with my children on boundaries, but it's because I'm struggling with them for myself,
For
because I'm still
yourself,
trying to
yeah.
figure out, and one of the harder parts about having my husband gone for, during the work week essentially, is that sometimes I set a boundary and it's way too hard of a boundary for a
Yeah.
3-year-old. Um,
Yeah.
a, a really good point is my 3-year-old and I have been having the battle of, it's time, you made this mess, it's time for you to clean up. And I will clean up to an extent. I help them because he's 3 and he does still need some help. But as he's really mature, I feel like, for his age. And so I've just been trying to like push a little harder of, okay, listen, like you have to be aware of the you should be aware that the bigger the mess that you make, the more that you're going to have to clean up. And so yesterday was a day that, my husband had just left for the road again after being home for like 2 days, but we've been sick and all that jazz, and it takes a mental and a physical toll on you. And so, Ty hit the road again, and I told Ben, I was like, listen, I was like, it's time for you to clean up. And he was like, no, I'm not going to. And I was like, yes, you're going to clean up. And like, there's like my first mistake. I'm not fighting with a 3-year-old. Like, I should have known like right there and there. Like, sorry, that's like, that's not the option. I should have said, like put things down and then, set the boundary. You have to clean this up. Um,
Maybe
and done it
try
with
it
him.
from sorry. Go
No, yeah.
ahead. What did you end up doing?
I told him that if he doesn't clean up all of his toys, he doesn't gonna have toys downstairs. And in a huff, as dinner was ready, I took all of his toys that were downstairs and I moved them up into his room and I put them away up in his room. And I told him that if he doesn't clean up his room, or if he makes his room a giant mess and he doesn't clean up those toys, I'm gonna throw them all away. And so there is a classic example of somebody who doesn't know how to set boundaries, who's like
Mhm.
not good at
No,
them.
I used to do that stuff
And
too.
it's so, and like it's terrible. Like I realized my stepmom used to do stuff like that, which is like, there's
Probably
going
learned
to
it from
be,
her too.
yeah, and
So
that's, and I was
these people have influence in our life, even like,
totally,
yeah.
yeah, and I was like, I was telling my sister that because like I kind of blew up at her too. Like I was lamenting to my husband. I was like, I have no authority. My children don't listen to me. And one of the reasons I realized that I don't have any authority is because like we never know what she wants. Like and she doesn't know what she wants. And so my it's a moving target constantly. And so my children have just like realized like, okay, like she's gonna change her mind 5 times while she's yelling at us. So we're just gonna wait until she blows up at us to figure out what that is, which is so
Yeah.
unfair to them.
It is unfair, yeah. But
And
I know it's unfair because I used to do it a
right,
lot,
right,
so
and
I
it's
understand. It's
yeah,
hard to, again, it's hard being in that 5%, but I would have to remind myself, like when I felt angry, and I would say, okay, I need to figure out a way. Like I would, example, my children would be playing video games and I'd be like, come down and do this. Like totally not even like they're doing something. They're in
right,
the middle
right.
of a game. Why is my thing that I need to do
So
more
important,
important?
right?
Right?
Because I'm
And
the
so
mom.
now I change it and I say, like if they bring their toys downstairs, I say, "Hey, are there toys that are left down here?" "Oh yeah, there are." "Hey, why don't you put them on the stairs and then you can take them up,
Next time you
don't
go,
forget to take them up."
right?
Or I would say they'll be like, "Well, I'm doing, okay, you need to clean up, but is there something that you want to do before you clean up?"
Mm-hmm,
To
mm-hmm.
kind of get their mind off of whatever they're doing. "Oh yeah, I want to do this real. Okay, well, let's take 10 minutes to do this and then you can go clean up."
Yeah,
So it's just changing the situation, taking control of it, but making them feel like they're in control too, because they are in control. They're
right,
going to have
right,
to do it regardless.
right.
And you doing it yourself doesn't solve the problem.
No, and that's I'm
Trust me. And like you're saying this, and I was like, oh, I know. And it's so frustrating to be sick,
yeah,
to want things cleaned up, and to not have feeling like you're, yeah, have no authority.
yeah,
But those are things that you tell yourself.
yeah, constantly. Yeah, yeah, no,
Like why,
totally.
like I understand the whole hierarchy, like everybody should respect their parents, but you have to respect your children too.
Right.
You have to
They're
respect them as
humans.
people.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
humans, right? And if you don't respect them, they're
Why
not
would they
going to
respect
learn
you?
how to give and take respect,
Yeah.
right? So it's really just this game of listening to them
Hmm.
and respecting that they, yeah, I hate cleaning up. Like I do. Like I don't even want to start a project because I know I
No,
have to
this is
clean
gonna
up.
be a mess.
So
Yeah.
that's why they're like, "What's your hobby?" I was like, "I have plenty, but I never do them because I don't want to clean up.
I don't want to have
I
to
hate
mind.
it."
Yeah.
And so that's what I told Pete. I was like, "When we get like a home, I
Sorry.
want to have a big workshop where I can just leave stuff out.
Yeah.
Like if I want to do a puzzle, I can just leave it out. I don't have
Yeah.
to do the entire puzzle all at once. Or if I want to do some art, I can just leave it out. But our house is so small now
Hmm.
that if we leave things out, it just looks it really does interfere with other people's and their movement around our
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Because I live in England and the houses here are smaller and we just have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just like just think of them as just little yous.
Yeah.
Like little Adrians.
That's
And how would you want if you were them, what would you want?
right.
Like you have to clean up, but say, how can I get them to clean up? Then this is where you have to really know your children. Like,
Mm.
okay, you have these things here, or yeah, really to me, it's just what I tell myself is I am a problem solver. I'm not a complainer. I am a problem solver. And I want my kids to be problem solvers because boys need to be problem solvers,
Yeah.
and they need to learn that from their mother because their mother is around them
Oh,
more. They need to
interesting.
learn from their dad too,
Right.
but their mother is around them a lot more. And so if their mother does nothing but yell and does nothing but complain, then they're going to be whiny little bitches. They're going to be those boys that just whine and bitch over everything, and that's not what we want.
Yeah, it's not
And we don't want
productive.
women doing that either. So
Right.
if we want to stop that, we need to be the change.
Yeah. I
And all that, go ahead, do that. Now go out into the world and spread
yeah.
your wings, Adrian.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on a second. Just a second. I gotta let this cat out. Oh, you stupid cat. We still have the same cat that you met and your boys love.
Oh yeah, they love
She's gonna be
cat.
10 this year. And I don't mind it, but I'm not a cat person. And she's feisty and ornery. And as soon as I go to make a move to let her out, she's like, "Nah, just kidding. I'm gonna go destroy something over here in a corner that you won't find out about." I have one of my friends told me that your teenagers are going to treat you the way that you treated them when they were toddlers. And then I recently read, I'm gonna misquote it. You cat, hold on. Where are you? Don't be a jerk. Okay, coincidentally, quick sidetrack. So get me back on this. I want to tell you about this quote. Um, Under my husband's desk, I
Well,
have
I can't
just
hear you.
found. Oh,
What'd you
sorry.
say?
Under my husband's desk, I have just found a tiny fortress of ducks that my children have been hiding when they play with it. It's so cute. I wanted
Are
to
they
go
set
yell
up in battle formation?
at.
My
Kinda.
kids love those little ducks. Oh my gosh, they love
So
them.
funny. They're
They
so funny.
still do.
I can't believe I just found the stash. That's so cute. Anyways, so and then to go with that point, I read somewhere, and I'm not gonna, I don't know who said this, and I don't know like exactly how they said it, but it was something to the effect of, um, oh man, I gotta figure out how to even say it. You, oh man, you will treat your parents. Oh, how is it? I think it was something from like mothers to daughters. So it was like daughters, you will treat your mother the way that she treated you. Or no, hold on. If you found yourself that you haven't been talking to your mom in a while, it's because you now that you don't need her, it's because when you needed her most, she wasn't there for you when you needed her as like a young person. So
Mm,
teach your children. A sense something
yeah.
are you can if you're I hope you're tracking because it hit me so much because it immediately then made me look at my own relationship with my mother. And while we didn't always have the best relationship. I'm glad that we had a better relationship closer to her passing. But like for a
Mm,
long time, like we really didn't have a great relationship because she just wasn't around. And her idea of parenting is kind of similar to mine, which is very free range. And I'm a very independent person for that. And I'm
right.
grateful for that. There's only really one way to do like raise a human that way. But like it really got me to thinking and it's like yesterday I had like one of the reasons it's all I mean, I the boys and I have this conversation every time Ty hits the road. One of the like our entire mental state is altered when he hits the road because an integral part of our family is missing and is gone. And so like that's a huge part of it, which by the way, he is actively always looking to get another job so that he's a part of us more. Um, but that being said, like I also believe like sometimes you just got to pay your dues. And so like I clearly need to be in a state where I'm learning how to set boundaries for myself because like, there's a lot of these things that need to be done. My husband can't set my boundaries for me. He can't be that person because then I will never learn, our children will never learn the right way. Anyways, but it's still like it had such a huge hit on me. So like yesterday after I totally like flipped out on Ben, like I've had moving targets for how I was going to be anyways all day yesterday, and then it all culminated in me taking all of his toys up to him, which, by the way, he loves. He loves that all of his toys are up in his room, with the exception of he doesn't love that little brother won't go upstairs to play with him in his room.
Mm, yeah.
Um, he doesn't want to go up
Maybe
there and play by
maybe he
himself.
was solving his own problems. He's like, I say no, my mom's gonna bring him up. Problem solved.
Yeah, and that's
Maybe,
that's really
maybe
what it
that's
is because he's also realized that I get so irritated like when
yeah,
I said these things and he's like she's just gonna do it for me and so
yeah.
I might as well do that. And granted, I made it harder on myself by hauling all of his toys up and now I'm like look, my shelves look super weird. There's no toys downstairs still. But now Ben doesn't want to bring them downstairs, except he wants to bring all the oddball ones that I hate.
Yeah. Something I did before was I don't even remember. I asked the kids to take up their laundry, right?
Mm,
I folded it. I wanted them to take it up, and then it just sat there. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing it for them. And then it sat there, and I said, hey, if you guys don't take up your laundry right now, I'm going to make you take it up piece by piece. And then, like, hours passed. So I called them both down. I mean, all of them down. And I was like, here's one shirt. Eat,
mm.
like everything piece by piece. I
Oh
made
my
them take them
gosh.
upstairs. I wasn't going to do it. It never happened again. They didn't want to do
Nice.
that again.
Right.
So I'm not, I right now, I usually fold the laundry and then put it at the bottom of the stairs.
Mm,
And they still walk over it.
right.
But, at the end of the day, it's usually Pete like, kids, come on. Come on, guys. Stop
Yeah.
walking over the laundry. Just bring it upstairs.
Hold on.
So,
Get into a fight with a cat. Gosh.
but it was just little things that I'm like, okay, how can I do this? How can I solve this problem without being irrational?
Yeah.
And this is still a new thing to me. It started, I say, about 3 or 4 months ago when I was just like, I need to be a problem solver.
Mm,
This is how I want my children to be. I need to be a problem solver. I need to stop being a victim. I need to stop complaining because complaining does nothing,
right.
nothing at all. I still find myself complaining sometimes. So, I mean, I'm like, I haven't got fully there, but I
Right.
think, but I do. I celebrate. I celebrate in my head like there's like like in my head when I do something good and when I do it and like I love that and it makes me feel so good because I'm like no matter how my children turn out, I know I know that once I woke up, I did everything that I can to fix myself
Yeah.
because I need to fix I can't expect them to be, to stop the traits that I had given them
Right.
overnight. I need to
Right.
just be a good role model.
Right.
And so I would say I'm at about a 85, 90% I'm good. Maybe 10% where I'm not I'm living in that like mode where I was in for so it's so easy to go
Right.
back.
Yeah.
It really is. But then I would say no, about 5% and then there'll be 5% where I start to get that way where I'm just like, "Oh, okay, wait.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Take a breath." And then I was like, "Okay, now I can think about things again." But like last night, like dealing with the whole house situation with our tenants that left without paying rent, and they knew they weren't going to get their deposit back, so they didn't do anything in the house.
Ah,
Yeah, so that's frustrating to me. But I'm like, I think about that. I'm like, wow, I handled this really well. I didn't yell. I said, okay, what can I do? What's in my power?
mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then I asked Pete to help me and we took care of it. Like,
Nice.
and that's all I can do. Why am I gonna let those people and what they did in money drain and cipher my happiness?
Right.
Like, I'm
Right.
not going to do that. But being sick, I don't know if you have this problem. It's so hard to be happy when I'm sick.
Oh,
It's so
dude.
hard for me because
Yeah.
I'm just, well, there's either like I'm laying there and I'm like, I'm wasting my life. My life is wasted. I'm just laying here doing nothing. Oh, look, I'm sick. And it's the one sunny day in England for the last 50 years. And of course, I'm sick on it. I'm never going to get another sunny day. And I'm thinking about this stuff in my head. And I'm like, I can't control my thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, it really is going back to a time where I'm like, I don't know how to control my thoughts. It's like I'm just sick and my head hurts and my mind is
Mm-hmm.
racing. And it's times like those where I'm like, even when I try to come down to the moment or bring myself back, I have a hard time doing that
Mm-hmm.
when I'm sick. And then I feel like those are the times when I'm like, nothing is real. I don't know what's real anymore. I'm just so sick. I'm going to die. I'm going to be sick forever. And I have a hard time seeing the future, like seeing that I'm going to come out of this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you experienced
No, a
that, but
hundred percent, 100%.
that's how I feel when I'm sick. I mean, when
Yeah.
I have a fever and stuff, I just have a cold, a little cold, but it's like the fevers and the
Mm-hmm.
body aches. My body hurts so bad right now, but I did a
Workout.
gym, I had my
I'm so
workout, so
jealous.
I'm
I'm
like,
so
I don't
jealous.
know if it's that or if I'm getting sick again, but I'm like, I didn't eat no cake. I ain't getting sick, all right?
I'm not doing
Not
it.
today.
That's so funny. No,
But
yeah, it's so hard. And I think that that's like one of the other reasons why like it was like yesterday was like harder than any of the other times is like being sick is like I don't know, it does something to your brain that like you almost like I had to remind myself several times. And even when I was like telling Ty, I was like I called him and I was like I have to tell you, I was like I'm having a terrible time and this is what's going on and I know that you don't want me to like complain. He's like, "Do I need to come home?" And I was like, "No." I was like, "I just need to tell you these things so they can hear out loud how silly I'm being because you're not physically here to tell me this." And he kind of like he was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Okay." And I had to go
that's why
through
we marry men that are
yeah,
smarter than us and that
yeah,
are emotionally stable. I'm not
yeah.
joking.
No,
That's
for
why we
real.
do it because we'll have that person where we can tell these things to and complain a little bit so they can
Yeah,
be like, all right, well,
yeah,
let's try to fix it
yeah.
instead of just sometimes I just want to just listen to me complain,
I
please.
know, I
My
know.
body
That's
hurts.
exactly. I was like, I need like t a 10-minute pity party. But it
Yep.
was really nice because then, Ben, Andrew, or gosh, whatever my husband's name is, Ty was like, Ben, why don't you go show me all the toys in your room and let's talk. And so I let Ben take the phone
That's
upstairs
nice.
and Ben and him. I don't know what they talked about. I'm dying to know. I wish they would tell me, but he'll never tell me, and probably Ben won't either. What'd you guys talk about? I don't know. Um,
I just showed Dad my toys, but
yeah,
I just spent time with him. Like
yeah,
that's really nice that he does that, even being away. And that those are the things that your children are going to remember, the
yeah.
time spent, not the money, not the gifts, not like they're going to just they listened to me
Mm-hmm.
and they spent time with me
Mm-hmm.
and they loved me.
Yeah, and Ty's so good at that. I think that's I don't think that Ty has any idea how great he is, especially with quality time. There's a couple times that every now and then I want to like kind of be like, there's two boys you have to spend time with. But Andrew's just now starting to come into that age where he
Yeah.
can. And there's so few things that Ty can like really do for him because like he's still like
And he's
nursed
3.
and he's
He's
so
cooler. I'm sorry. He's cooler than a baby.
yeah.
Like he's learning all these new things and these new wires in his head and he's so excited about things like that we take for granted. Like
Oh yeah.
it's so cool.
He
I
put
I
his
remember the huh?
Oh, he put his hat on today for the first time. His beanie has really kicked his butt recently. And he comes over and he goes, "Hat." And
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, you
Just a
got your
hat. Like
hat on."
that Simon does those things. Like he's so excited
Yeah.
about just and it doesn't even have to be anything new. Like it just has to be life. Like he's just so excited.
Mm.
But Silas gets that way when he's out in nature. Like he's like, "Do you see this butterfly? Oh my goodness. Look at how beautiful it is. Look at how intricate its wings are." And I'm just like, "Nee." Like, I'm scared of it. And he's just like, "This is so neat. Look at this bug, this beetle over here. Look at this." Like we went to Norway and I'm like, the other kids like Gabriel and Grayson are just like sitting like lumps on the couch watching the show, and I'm like, "You guys, where's Silas?" And they're like, "Ooh." Silas is outside, just watching the butterflies and the bee. Oh, he was watching
Oh,
the bees. He was watching the bees, the
cute.
big bumblebees. And I come outside and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "The bees are so cool, Mom.
Oh,
Just look at them going from all the little dandelion to the dandelions, and they're just flying around and just enjoying life." And I'm like, "You're 6." Like, or what was he, 8? It's just 7 or 8 at the time. And I'm like, he really gets it.
oh,
And he's just so, like, he's so perfect in his just beautiful little ways. But we um we had issues with him when he was younger. Like, they the doctors were like, "Oh
they.
yeah, well, he has ADHD, and he's being evaluated for autism. He has sensory processing disorder." And so he was in therapy for he went to school full time in Virginia Beach, and then they had an occupational therapist come in because he just loved to explore.
Mm,
And I didn't love for him to explore. It was an
mm.
inconvenience to me. And I was scared. I had so much anxiety. Like, he's going to die. He's going to go, because he did like run away in grocery stores. And then I'd be trying to chase him around. I'm like, I just need to get this grocery done. And
Right.
I need to do that. Like, it's like I had to get in. Simon's a baby, and it was so overwhelming. And I remember just like putting him in the grocery cart and just giving him an ear of corn. And I'm like, please, just sit down. And
Look
people
at
were
this
like,
corn.
he's eating corn. Did you pay for that? And I was like, I'll fucking pay for the ear of corn. Like, it's 10 cents. Fuck up, you know?
Yeah.
And then there would be other people like, oh, and then now I'm looking back, I would have been like, oh my gosh, that corn, is it GMO free? Like, it's like, have this been sprayed? We haven't even washed it. Like me now. But yeah, he's just eating this ear of corn. And I was like, and then he fell asleep in the cart.
Oh,
And I'm just like, he's so cute and he's so adorable right now. But it was such a, I say hard kid, but I think I was the problem. He was just a kid, right? So, plus my back hurt all the time. Like, there's all these things that went to me. Like, I don't want to move. I just want to sit down on this couch, and I
yeah.
don't want my kid to die while I'm being lazy. Is
Right.
really what
Oh no.
the whole situation was. So I was like, yeah, he definitely has ADHD. Yeah, I think he has autism, and all this. But he was also nonverbal. So he did have some issues. And during lockdown, he very rarely spoke. He's still a quiet boy,
Right.
but he very rarely spoke. He said like "mama" or "eh" and screamed,
Yeah, that's mine,
um,
Andrew.
but very rarely spoke. And so during lockdown, so he's 10 now. How old was he then? All right, how long ago was 2020? What is it,
5.
2005? So 5. Oh my gosh,
I know, I can't believe it.
it's been that long.
It's insane.
5 years. But our lockdown started on spring break, so it was a little less than 5 years. So we go into lockdown, we start this keto diet, right? And since my husband was an essential worker, my kids got to go back to school after like 3 or 4 weeks of lockdown.
Hmm.
So, and I can tell you, I can go through my phone and tell you the exact day that this happened, because there's the whole situation with that. But so there's Silas, who doesn't speak, and we all started this keto diet, and I didn't put anything together at that time, but he starts to he wakes up one day and he's just like, "Hi, Mom," and I'm like, "What?" He's like, "I'm hungry," and I'm like, what's happened? And then he started school like 2 days later, and the school calls me and was like, what happened? He's speaking in full sentences. What happened? And I was like, I was hoping you could tell me. So I started down this, like, I was like, maybe he was swapped with like an alien thing.
That's
I
so
don't
funny. You're
know.
so
Like, I
funny.
didn't know what was happening, but now I know. Oh,
Yeah.
but now I know it has to do with diet
Hmm.
and like gene mutations, the methylation
Yeah.
and MTHFR gene, and I'm just like, we were literally poisoning him. He was so low on all of this, like all these vitamins and all these minerals, and when we put him on a keto diet and got rid of carbs and got rid of all this other stuff, he started to think clearly.
Interesting. Yeah.
You know. But I am gonna have to go
Yeah,
because
me
it's
too.
7:37 and my
Yeah.
kids have to go to school at 8. So,
I gotta
whoops.
I gotta put him to bed and I gotta go to bed myself, so.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
hope you feel better.
Thank you. Let's try to do this again soon. I've missed talking to you.
Yeah. No, this is nice. All right.
All right. Good night, friend.
Love you, friend. Bye.
Bye.
Feel better. Bye.
Thanks. You too. Bye.